The last one in your top 30, Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. You have him 23 overall. I had him just behind that, 29 overall. So same kind of tier. Shedeur Sanders, what'd you think about him so far this year?
I mean, he's a good player. Like, I don't think any conversation about Shedeur is he good or not? Like, he's clearly a good player. I think his poise, his accuracy, his toughness, like those are all things I think you can point to and say, oh yeah, that'll work. That'll work in the NFL. I'm not impressed by the physical traits. He's 6'1", maybe 210 at best. His arm is B level. I think in terms of quarterbacking style, reminds me a lot of Jordan Love without the high-end physical traits. You know, the way they bounce around, they backpedal at times, they keep the weight on their back foot, they use a lot of different platforms to throw the football. Shedeur grew up watching his dad, this elite athlete, do these different things. I think Shedeur thinks he has some of that in him when he not even close. So, you know,
like four tiers apart.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a quarterbacking style that he has that a guy like Jordan Love can get away with, but I just don't know if Shedeur will be able to get away with that at the next level. And again, I mentioned this with Cam Ward. I want to see Shedeur against a defense that I respect. And the two best defenses that the Colorado has faced this year, Kansas State and Nebraska, both losses and both games where I thought Shedeur didn't handle himself the best. And a lot of that is working the pocket and understanding where the rush is coming from. He's not a bad athlete. He's a good athlete in order to kind of move around, but he takes too many sacks. The offensive line for Colorado is going to get brought up endlessly throughout the draft process, but a number of these sacks are on the quarterback. So look, it's only going to get tougher against NFL speed. I don't know. Like I said, I think Shedeur is a good quarterback, but I have plenty of concerns about what he's doing and how it's going to work at the next level. I don't have conviction that this is a guy that you're going to be able to plug in and all of a sudden he's going to start leading my team to wins.
He's very mechanical. And, you know, he's been coached, and I mean that in a good way and a bad way, where it's that this feels, as far as his tools wise, everything's maxed out. And some of that feel in the pocket is don't get me wrong, he has gotten way better in the pocket compared to last year, but last year he was poor. And now this year it's average at best. And he's stepping up a little bit better, but it's still, his first instinct is to move backwards, which is the biggest no-no. You brought it up that Love can do it. Love is 6'4", 230 with a plus one arm. That's why he can move back and do those things and has the size to get out, defenders' grasp. You before the season had the verified numbers from Shedeur for the spring, and it was 6'1", 198, I believe. Yeah, and that's where I was like, whoa. Yeah. Anything under 205 is that's even for Nussmeier. I have size concerns about him. I got to see what he's going to be. But with Shedeur, especially how he wants to play, those traits just don't match his play style. And again, like you said, it gets harder in the NFL. So
it's like he's going to run in the 40. I mean, maybe 4.8. I mean,
that's what I figured.
Yeah, right. He's maybe 4.76 at best. Like, he's just not that type of athlete. So yeah, it's the lack of physical traits or high-end physical traits is something that it bothers me. I mean, it's something that, I'm not going to compare him to Bryce Young. Bryce Young was such an outlier in terms of size and all that. But it's something that if you're talking about a top 10 pick, because if you do a mock draft, that's where you see a lot of Shedeur Sanders in the top 10, and he might actually go that high because teams are desperate for quarterbacks. I would not have any conviction in drafting him that high.
Yeah, that's I come back to that same thing. The tools do matter, and the fact is his play style doesn't mitigate that, and that's like Nussmeier. I can make an argument for it because he mitigates it, like with his pocket feel, getting rid of the ball quickly. Like when you're trying to use that athleticism or your thoughts of your athleticism and your arm strength, it's kind of. I texted to you. My comparison for him was kind of a Diet Coke Jameis. He's better with the ball as far as not putting the ball in harm's way than Jameis, but kind of that same thing where they maybe think they're more than what they actually are. And then, like I said, to wrap it up, you had Nussmeier at 30. He was my one, had them in the teens. You have the Tony Romo comparison to Nussmeier. I just want to wrap it up with that. Like a Diet Coke Romo. How about Chad Pennington? A little bit of like a mix between the two. Pennington had a little bit more wild horse than you remember. And anytime I think of these old comparisons, I try to find some old YouTube game just to make sure I'm not like totally off. So yeah, I saw some shades of Pennington in there, which that's my QB1, and that kind of sums up the class. My QB1 is a Diet Coke Chad Pennington.
He was drafted like mid to late first round. So
yep. In the 20s. I think the Jets had like 4 first-round picks that year or something like that.
That's
something crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I get it. Like Nuss, trust me, I've taken it on the chin for having him as my quarterback 1 couple weeks ago. And I still really like him. All these guys are pretty closely ranked for me. I hope he goes back. I really do. Because I think he can get a lot better. And like, I don't know that he'll ascend to Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels status in year 2 as starters for LSU, like those guys did. But he could absolutely take any doubt out of being a top 10 pick. And, a true
lottery pick.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. If I were him, hopefully he goes back. Obviously, Cam and Shedeur they're seniors. They will be in this class. And like I said, if I had to make a bet on who's going to be the first quarterback drafted, I think it'd be Cam Ward and then Shedeur at some point in the first round. And I mean, hey, there's a good chance maybe he could join you as a Las Vegas resident here in 6 months. I don't think Mark Davis will be able to help himself.
Oh my God, that's what they need. They just have the circus tent hanging over there. Just bring it over from Absinthe or anything like that. Just put it over the stadium. They just love it here.